You step into a high-end dealership, and before you even reach the front desk, 3 cars priced higher than most homes are already gone. Not reserved. Not under discussion. Sold. One buyer is trading in a supercar they bought less than a year ago. Another wires funds before the engine has even cooled from its final inspection. Meanwhile, the sales team isn't scrambling. They're calmly managing a waiting list. This isn't hype. This is what is happening inside elite dealerships in 2026. And the real question I ask into why wealthy people like expensive cars. That's obvious. The real question is why buy-sell activity at the very top of the automotive market is moving faster than ever before. And why cars once meant to be kept forever are now changing hands in months. To understand this shift, you have to forget how luxury cars used to be viewed. For decades, ultra-luxury vehicles were treated like long-term trophies. You bought one, lived with it, and kept it as a symbol of arrival. Selling too quickly was seen as strange, even wasteful. That mindset has quietly collapsed. Today, at the highest level of the market, luxury cars behave less like heirlooms and more like high-velocity assets. Ask yourself this: how often did you hear about someone driving a 6-figure car for a year and selling it for more than they paid? Now ask how often you hear that story in 2026. That shift is the engine behind this boom. At the ultra-luxury level, supply is deliberately constrained. Production numbers are capped. Custom builds stretch into months or years. And buyers aren't just enthusiasts anymore. They're collectors, investors, brand strategists, and status-aware operators who understand one thing extremely well: scarcity creates leverage. This creates a self-reinforcing loop. Cars arrive already wanted. Buyers know hesitation equals losing access. That pressure compresses decision-making timelines and accelerates resale cycles. Speed becomes part of the value. And here's where the psychology changes. Many buyers aren't emotionally attached to the car itself. They're attached to what the car represents: access, positioning, and visibility inside an elite ecosystem. That's why you hear one word more than ever before in these circles: allocation. In ultra-luxury markets, being allowed to buy a car can be more valuable than owning it. When someone secures a rare build or limited release, they're holding a key not just to a vehicle, but to future opportunities. That alone creates instant resale demand. This is why dealerships now sit at the center of the frenzy. High-end dealerships no longer function like traditional retailers. They operate more like private brokers managing demand pipelines. They track buyer histories, trade cycles, preferences, and upcoming interest months in advance. When a rare car lands, they already know exactly who will want it often before the transport truck even arrives. And buyers understand this dynamic. If you want continued access, you stay active, you buy, you trade, you sell, you remain visible. You don't disappear for years and expect the door to still be open. That's why buy-sell activity is exploding. This isn't desperation flipping. It's strategic movement. People aren't selling because they need out. They're selling to stay in. Think about how unusual that is. What kind of market rewards selling a $500,000 car just to maintain relevance? Only one running at full temperature. Another force pushing this surge is how modern wealth behaves. Today's high-net-worth individuals often have liquidity tied to fast-moving businesses, technology, and investments that shift quarterly, not generationally. When money feels fluid, spending becomes fluid too. If millions can be made or lost in months, buying and selling a luxury car feels less like a life decision and more like portfolio management. That changes behavior. Luxury cars have also become shorter-cycle expressions of identity. Instead of one defining purchase, buyers now rotate vehicles to match mood, phase, or public presence. One year, it's raw performance. The next, it's understated power. Then something loud, rare, and impossible to ignore. Every rotation creates a transaction. Dealerships thrive on that movement. This is where brands like Ferrari and Lamborghini dominate the conversation. They aren't just selling cars. They're selling momentum, limited production, controlled evolution, clear hierarchy within the brand. Owning one model often becomes the gateway to the next, more exclusive one. That structure creates constant circulation. A buyer takes delivery, enjoys the car, trades it back to secure the next allocation. The dealership resells it instantly, often at a premium. The buyer maintains status. The dealer maintains control. The brand maintains mystique. Name another market where both buyer and seller repeatedly profit from the same product. That's why this cycle feels different. Uncertainty in the broader world has also played a role. When markets wobble, currencies fluctuate, and long-term forecasts feel fragile, people gravitate toward tangible luxury. Not because it's risk-free, but because it holds attention. A rare car doesn't need earnings calls to maintain value. It needs desire, and desire is remarkably resilient. Social media has amplified this entire ecosystem. Cars that once lived quietly in private garages are now content engines. A delivery moment becomes marketing. A custom spec trends overnight. Visibility compresses the buy-sell timeline even further. If your car is already being watched, documented, and discussed, its resale narrative is being written in real time. So why are elite dealerships thriving while much of the auto world struggles? Because they compete on psychology, not price. They don't chase discounts, they manage access. They prioritize timing, trust, and continuity. Buyers want to feel recognized, remembered, positioned. They want to believe their next upgrade is already being considered before they even ask. That emotional assurance creates loyalty that no rebate ever could. Ask yourself this: if selling your car today increased your chances of something better tomorrow, would you hesitate? Most people at this level don't. Another overlooked factor is how luxury cars themselves have evolved. These machines are no longer just engines wrapped in prestige. They're rolling systems, advanced electronics, refined interiors, and cutting-edge performance tech. That makes quick turnover feel natural, not wasteful. Selling early doesn't feel like loss. It feels like upgrading software. Exclusivity also plays its part. Some vehicles are designed to never sit unsold. They're spoken for long before arrival. That urgency accelerates everything: decisions, deals, resale velocity. High-end dealerships now see repeat clients cycling through multiple cars in a single year. Not from boredom, but because the system rewards movement. What once was ceremonial is now fluid. A generational shift reinforces this trend. Younger, wealthy buyers value experience over permanence. They want to try, share, and move on. For them, selling a luxury car after 6 months isn't strange, it's efficient. Dealerships have adapted flawlessly. Seamless trade-ins, discreet resale channels, minimal friction. And when friction disappears, markets heat up. Zoom out and the picture becomes clear. Ultra-luxury cars are red-hot because they sit at the intersection of wealth, identity, scarcity, and emotion. They're functional enough to justify ownership and symbolic enough to justify desire. Very few assets operate comfortably in both worlds. That balance is powerful. When digital life feels abstract, physical luxury feels grounding. When markets feel uncertain, tangible desire feels stable. Cars deliver both in one object. If you enjoy sharp breakdowns of elite markets, rare machines, and the psychology behind high-end demand, subscribe. Like the video if this changed how you see luxury. Share it with someone who understands that real luxury is never rushed.